Thursday, when God has to remind you who's the boss, who's in control here. Oh, y'all, like, so yesterday, I know I was a little bit spazzed out yesterday. I had a for sure. I don't even know when, but at some point yesterday, I'm absolutely positive I had a full meltdown. Um, it was a crazy day yesterday. I was sick and recovering and sick, and I couldn't find a doctor and all that stuff. And then finally found a doctor and couldn't find parking for over an hour. And so I drove around the block. I mean, I drove around Queens for like an hour trying to find a parking spot. And finally did. Then I couldn't find my wallet, so I had to tear my car apart. And I looked like where I thought it was, at least 10 times, right? At least 10 times. And then I called my mom and had a full meltdown. So I was like, I can't do this, crying. And as soon as I got off the phone with her, I reached in that same spot that I'd already checked 10 times, and it was right there. I was like, there's no way it was right there the whole time. And so I went into the doctor, and I have laryngitis, and they told me not to talk for a couple of days. I was just like, yeah, that's never gonna happen. So um so anyway, they gave me some cough medicine, and that helped tremendously. Oh my goodness. It was like I felt like my vocal cords were being ripped out every time I coughed. And so anyway, but I was not feeling well, and I had to walk like not too far, probably like 10 minutes, but it was freezing cold, and I had to walk to the pharmacy and get it filled and go back to my car. And I just was not feeling well. By the time I made it back to my car, I felt like I was gonna just pass out, and I was so just irritable. And it had been a long day, long stressful week. And I hadn't been sleeping good because of the coughing. And I think yesterday I hadn't even slept at all. And so anyway, I ended up, uh, getting back to my car, driving off, and I knew I had an appointment on the phone, with a different, with my therapist. And so anyway, I had to call my mom first. So I didn't want to get pulled over again for holding my cell phone. So I just pull over into a parking spot on the side of the road, and I talked to my mom, and I'm like, everything's fine. I went to the doctor, I found my wallet, everything's good, and we talked for like an hour. And then immediately it's time for my appointment. So I get on the teleprompt, appointment with my therapist, and we have a whole appointment for an hour. And by the time I got off the phone, I go to crank my car, and my battery was dead. Like, I left my lights on the whole time. And so at that point, I just was like, I give up. Like, I totally give up. And I, my mom's like, what are you going to do? I was like, don't ask me that question. Do not ask me like what I'm not going to do anything. I can't do anything. I don't even have jumper cables. So anyway, I just like, hopped in the back, hunkered down for the night, went to sleep. Finally went to sleep, slept really good all night because that medicine they gave me just knocked me out. And, I really needed sleep, I think. And so this morning I woke up, I get up early, like 5 or whatever. So I kind of just waited around till it was daylight, and I figured people would be going to work, and I didn't know what to do. I had called a couple friends yesterday but they're way in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? And I'm in Queens today. So I'm like, I don't even, you know what I mean? How am I going to get them over here to jump me? Anyway, so I didn't want to bother them. And then so I was just stressing out. And then finally I was like, I can't fix this situation. I literally cannot fix this situation. And there's nothing I can do about it. And so I was like, I give up. So this morning at like 5, something in me said, just go outside when people are leaving for work, and then maybe somebody will, like, you can see somebody on the sidewalk or something, and just ask them. And so I did that. I got up at like 7. I went out, and it was freezing this morning. And I waited and waited, and I heard somebody, when they can automatically start their car. So the lady in front of me had done that, and so I heard her car start up, and I'm like, oh, she'll be coming out soon, or he or whoever. And she came out, but she didn't have jumper cables, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get upset, just whatever. And then there was this like back gate, and then something said just go around the corner and just look and see what's down that street. And so when I did, I walked around the corner, and there was this little Asian man at his Tesla with this little thing like pumping the air up, with the air. And I was like, sir, good morning. Do you have jumper cables? And he's like, this has jumper cables. And he's like, I'll come jump you. And I was like, shut up. And the little toolkit he had or whatever that thing was, it was like a little power box. He came right around the corner and jumped me off. And I was just like, thank you, Jesus, because I could not handle anything else. It was so cold this morning. My fingers were frozen. I was like, I need heat in this car, And I had appointments today that I had to get to. So God just worked it all out. And that's like, I think I mean, just all the stuff that's happened in the past like week or two, we get hit hard in the most whenever we don't feel good, when we're tired, when we're broke, like things just over, and especially I think for me, like I said, the pressure of transition season, I already turn into a spaz when I have to transition. I don't know. I do it every time. You would think I would be used to it by now, like having, because there's been significant transitions in my life. It's my worst thing. It's my worst thing. I cannot handle it. I turn into like a ball of nerves. I don't know why. God's always got it. And that was what he was telling me this morning. Like, I have everything under control. Like, you just don't even worry about it. Like, literally all I had to do is follow his instructions, because I mean, literally I feel like he put the idea in my mind to even go outside this morning when people were leaving for work, and then I literally, something said go around this corner and just see what's down the street, and the man was standing there with jumper cables. Like, so you can't make that stuff up, and so he always has to remind me, like, I've got this, I'm in control, everything is going to be okay. And because I will literally worry myself to death sometimes. Once I know what God expects, or once I understand, like, get past the uncertainty of transition, once I have a direct word from God, I'm so like dead set on, yes, Lord, like I will commit to this. I will, whatever. But it's that middle place. I'm not good with it. I'm like, I give up. I can't do this. I'm such a baby. Um, but I one day I'll learn not to do that, I guess. But like for now, we're still here. Anyway, yeah. So, uh, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. Trust the Lord with whatever, whatever he's got it. Like, just, I think that's the biggest thing for me, is like when and I think that's human nature too, is like when we feel like we're slipping or we're losing, when things feel uncertain, we can like reach out for a power grab, to try to be in control of something. And I gotta fix this, I gotta handle this, I gotta know. And it's like, really, we don't need to know. And Pastor Phil used to do this to us all the time. This is because I was way worse back in the day. And back in the day, when I went to Pastor Phil's house, every day is an adventure with that man. And like, literally, you could wake up one morning and, you know, I don't know, one day it's just a normal day sweeping his driveway, and the next day, you're hanging out with Snoop Dogg. Like, literally, you have no idea what's gonna happen when you wake up. But like, we're always with it. We were always with him and stuff. And so every day you go and you're like, hey, what are we doing today? And he's like, I don't know. But he always knew, right? Like, he always knew what we were gonna do, but he wouldn't tell us. And it would drive me bonkers. It would drive me bananas. I'm like, just tell us what we're gonna do. Because I need to know. And he never would. He would never. He's like, no, it's a surprise, because he was teaching us like how to just trust that everything's gonna work out okay. You're gonna be okay. You don't need to know all the answers, And it was such a hard life lesson for me to learn. But he was always right. He was always right. Like, everything worked out. Everything was good. We always had fun. Sometimes we had to move pianos and things like that, but it was always a good time, And there was never anything, like, everything was always taken care of. And like, the Lord has tried to make me understand that for so long, and I don't know why. I'm a control freak, but one day I'm just gonna be like, Lord, you got it. Anyway, so yeah, you guys trust the Lord today. He's got everything under control. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.